let me just switch to CEU. I know we're running out of time. So, CEU, our alma mater, home to over 1,500 students and over 10,000 alumni from more than 110 countries. An amazing place. And on this regard, when we had the chance to interview Gerard Casper, the President Emeritus of Stanford University and former member of the Board of Trustees, and I asked him about his experience, the challenges in leading a university, he replied, and let me quote because I like it a lot what he said. Professor Casper said, "The university is not politics or the marketplace. It has to march to a different drummer. The search for knowledge must be carried out by critical analysis according to standards that themselves are subject to examination and re-examination." This all calls for a lot of gardening every day. Getting out the weeds when they are still small and thinking very hard about what new trees to plant. Gardening is a real challenge, Professor Casper said. So I would like to ask you, Rector, how does John Shattuck carry out this gardening? What are the things you should never lose sight of? What are the challenges, the implications, the delicate issues when making a decision? In which direction are we going to head? Where are we going to push more, not?
Well, I think CEU is a remarkable laboratory for critical thinking, which is, I think, the most important element of an educated human being in the 21st century, is to be able to think critically. We live in a world where there is so much information constantly flowing at us through Google, through the internet, through all kinds of social media. And we need to be able to analyze this and navigate this world, because otherwise we fall prey to propaganda of various kinds, misconceptions. Misconceptions lead to conflict. Conflict leads to war. We've been talking about that. So educating people at a university, especially here at CEU, to be critical thinkers, to understand what this diversity of information is about and be able to separate fact from fiction. There are facts in the world. Everything is not relative. There is truth. There are what happened in a particular situation, whether it's what happened in Srebrenica, which I described earlier, in Bosnia, or what happens in a classroom. It happened. There are real facts. And we need to be able to understand how to get those facts and how to develop them. Then beyond that, we need to analyze them and make judgments about them. And the judgments need to be based on some fundamental principles, in our case, in this university, principles of open society, democracy, tolerance, an honest relationship with history, so that we can come to grips with some of the terrible things that have happened in our own countries. The US coming to grips with the treatment of, for centuries, of African Americans. Other countries have similar issues of history to deal with. All of that is part of the education that we need to have here. And the mechanisms for how to do this, how to engage in a university, in a graduate institution that does a great deal of research, we need to promote cross-disciplinary, cross-field analyses. There's no one field that's ever going to be able to solve the problem of the war in Bosnia. You need to have historians and sociologists and gender studies and policy people and political scientists and all the other elements that we have here at the university. And so we need to make sure that we're promoting that and that we don't allow particular fields to become isolated. We also need to connect the theory of what we're studying, things that are theoretical analysis in the classroom, with the real world, the practice world. And we do that here at CEU. I think we're doing that more, certainly through our School of Public Policy, which is the whole point of connecting the real world with the theoretical world. So at the bottom, it's all about truth. It's about the search for truth.
And can there be a contradiction sometimes between promoting open societies and the pursuit of truth, or these will not lead in different directions?
In some superficial way, there may well be, but I think what a university needs to do, and I'm not sure I would use the word promoting as much as understanding, analyzing, and getting at the roots of what are these values of open society, recognizing that they're under contest, looking at other systems and challenging ideologies, if you will. We shouldn't be in a bubble. We should be open to all elements of truth. That's really what CEU should be about.
Thank you, Rector.
Yeah.
If you can hold for 1 minute more, very last question, and I apologize because it's a very local one. As you know, the CEU Weekly is a student and alumni initiative, now in its 3rd year of existence, and every year new students go and new students come, so it kind of regenerates. And the vision we have is that in 2031, the CEU Weekly will not only celebrate the 40th anniversary of CEU, but also the 20th of its own existence. Since our beginning, you show enthusiasm about this. So now, just to conclude, I would like to ask if you could share a message for the students and alumni who will be running this newspaper in the years to come.
Well, I think they have a big job. Their job, and it's the job that you perform right now running this paper, is to understand all the various parts of this university. Who are the people out there? What are their lives like? What brought them here? What are they inspired by? What kinds of professors are teaching them? What are the subjects that they're most interested in? And where are they going with their lives? That's really, this is a journey. This newspaper is about the journey. It's the journey of CEU. And I think to have it captured by a newspaper run by the students is a tribute both to the students, to you, Rodrigo, who put this together, and others who've worked with you, and to the university that you've decided to write about. I mean, you bring it to life, and I think that's what the students in 2031, what are we talking here? Yeah. 20 years after the founding of the newspaper, not quite that long from now, we'll have to think about. So I think it's great.
Rector, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Shattuck, President and Rector of Central European University. Rector, big pleasure.
Thanks for